Hello, my name's Lorraine and I run the Volunteer Centre for Community First Newforest. The Volunteer Centre helps local organisations find much needed volunteers. Today I'm talking to Jackie Lillywhite, who runs Forest Nightstop. They're currently looking for volunteers and here's why. Hello Jackie.
Hi Lorraine.
Can you tell me a little bit about the Nightstop service and what it does?
Sure. Nightstop is what is known as a community hosting service, and what it does in very simple terms is that we have a network of volunteer hosts across the New Forest who have a spare room in their own home, who are willing to allow somebody who is finding themselves in a housing crisis to use their spare room on a night-by-night basis. The hosts provide what we call a basic offer, which means that when somebody is placed with them, they would share their evening meal. They obviously provide the private spare room for the guest, and a share of the breakfast in the morning and an opportunity to have a shower and for the guest to wash their clothes.
That sounds fantastic. I mean, how many nights would that be for, Jackie?
Well, what we do is we say to people who come onto our service that it's always on a night-by-night basis. Sometimes the people who come through our service literally only need support for a couple of nights. Sometimes people stay a little bit longer, maybe up to a week, sometimes up to 2 weeks. But what we do is we would never expect one of our hosts to host a guest longer than maybe 2 or 3 nights consecutively. So it's quite a small commitment in terms of maybe a couple of nights, perhaps once a month or once every 2 months, something like that.
I mean, it sounds fantastic. I know that some people might have concerns about safety. How do you deal with the safety of your volunteers?
Okay, well, I guess the safety goes both ways. So initially, if we're looking at making sure that our hosts are the right people to be delivering this service, we have a rigorous recruitment process, which would include taking up references and also doing a DBS check on our hosts. It also includes me coming to look at their property, having a look at the spare room that they're going to offer, just as a general look around their home, just to make sure that it's as safe as the average home. It's not any kind of detailed high-level inspection, just making sure that there are no obvious hazards in the home. And then with regard to the guests, again, we have a rigorous referral process for the guests that come onto our service. That includes taking up references, although they will be verbal references on the guests. And also we have an opportunity, if we feel there's a legitimate reason that we can ask for a police check, and we will get the results of that done on the day that we ask, usually within the hour of us asking. Also, part of the risk management is there's conversations with the guest. We ask about their background, we ask about their plans, we make sure they're engaged with other organisations in order to support them beyond the Nightstop service. So we're very aware about risk in the service, but we have very well developed and robust processes in place to manage the risk.
It certainly sounds like it, and I think that that's some of the big fears that people would have, but it sounds like as much as you can, then you look at both the families where people will be staying and the guests who are coming in.
Absolutely.
But it does sound like a long process. What sort of timescale would people expect if they were signing up?
Well, the process has to go at its own speed, given that we have to do things like take up references and we have to wait for a DBS check if somebody isn't on the update service. So there are some parts of the process that are out of our hands. By the same token, I would want people to feel comfortable that they're going through the process step by step, and that each time they have the opportunity to ask questions, to get information, maybe talk to other existing hosts along the way. So it's not something we particularly want to rush. You want to do it at a speed that is comfortable for the volunteer.
But it sounds like there's lots of training and support available as well.
Absolutely, definitely so. When we have a little cohort of volunteers, sort of once every 6 months or so, we would run a training programme which will be attended by some of our existing volunteers. So again, there's opportunities for new people to ask questions and to talk to the people who actually deliver the service.
So it sounds like once you've got over the initial period of applying,
Yeah.
then the commitment would actually be sort of quite low level.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
yeah.
what for you, Jackie, makes a good volunteer? What makes a good Nightstop host?
Okay, we need somebody who understands that there are boundaries which need to be kept and maintained while somebody is placed in their home. This is a bit of an unusual one because obviously anybody's home is the place where you kind of are yourself and where you do what you want to do. But when a host is delivering the Nightstop service, we do ask them to be aware of the fact that they are delivering a service and to consider their boundaries. We provide training and support on those things as well. So that's the first thing, I think, somebody who understands about boundaries and about remaining boundaried. Other than that, people who are empathic, who are prepared to perhaps spend an evening maybe just chatting with somebody, who is prepared to open their home to somebody, but we're not looking for anybody to be counsellors or support workers or problem solvers or any of those things, because it's impossible to do that during one overnight stay. But we are looking for people who are empathic and welcoming to having somebody who is ultimately a stranger to stay in their home.
That's fantastic. And I mean, we've talked about what makes a good host. Just so thinking about the service, what do the people who stay in Nightstop get out of the service, do you think? What difference does it make?
Okay, our service in the New Forest is open to anybody who's 16 or over. The majority of the other Nightstops in the country, they have a cut-off age of 24. But here in the New Forest, we don't have an upper age limit. So we do see people right across the age bands who need our service because basically they're at a point of crisis in their life. Often it's centred around a relationship breakdown. If they're a younger person, it's between a parent and a child maybe, or if that's not the circumstances that are in, it's a relationship breakdown, kind of partner to partner. And they come to our service often after they've already spent several nights or several weeks sleeping rough, sofa surfing, sleeping in outbuildings, sleeping in tents, that kind of thing. So immediately what they get from our service is literally a bed to sleep in that night and a place to be kept safe.
And in the long term, safety is sort of paramount, particularly with the kind of people you've got coming through. Mm-hmm. In the long term, how does it help people who have been night stoppers?
Okay, what we're trying to do is to help people for whom a sort of set of circumstances has collided in an unfortunate way, and provide them with a short-term intervention to help them keep their chin above water. We have people who have been able to continue on their college course because they've been able to stay safe with the Nightstop service. We've been people who've been able to stay in employment because they've been able to stay with the Nightstop service. It's not possible really to sustain a job if you haven't got anywhere that you can wash yourself, wash your clothes, sleep properly. So somebody who has perhaps been sleeping, like I say, in an outbuilding, especially this time of year in the winter, are going to find it very tricky to continue their employment. So maybe Nightstop gives them that breathing space to enable them to look for accommodation, get in touch with the housing authority, local authority, see what they can do, those kind of things.
So it's helping not only in the short term, but in the long term as well.
Yeah.
Jackie, thank you very much. If you think that you would like to become a volunteer host or would like more information about working with Nightstop, you can give us a call on 01425 482 773 or search online for Newforest Nightstop at Community First New Forest. Jackie, thank you.
Bye.